Zashiki. Zashikihime? 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 We're rolling, by the way.
What do you mean we're rolling?
Oh, we're rolling.
I haven't been prepared yet. I didn't even do my pre-recording slaps. Alright, that's good.
15 hit combo. Sup guys, Off Topic Games. You have Brian over here and Zach over here. Doing a deck profile for you guys. Zach actually just won the shop challenge at Hawaii for Premium playing
Nubatama Jammy Congo deck.
Yeah, this deck's going to get hit in about 2 weeks, so might as well deck profile it for you guys. Zach's also planning on attending the New Jersey Regional.
Yes, the Secaucus Regional.
Yeah, whatever, Secaucus. We'll send him with a piece of paper that says OTG on it, so if you want to meet him.
What?
Nah, I'm kidding. It really doesn't matter. He's not important at all.
I'm not.
Little background on Zach. He won the Hawaii Regional for Premium last year playing...
Aquaforce.
Yeah.
Much more fun.
Playing Ripples, right?
Yes, playing Ripples.
Yep. Went to Worlds. It was cool.
Yeah, it was fun. Colin Live won Worlds.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
I played him in the regional over here in the tournament too.
Yeah, and how did that go?
I was able to beat him.
Wow, pretty good. Beating the world champion. Sorry, this is going to bug me for the whole video. Just gonna...
Shouldn't we start over?
No, it's okay. They'll never know. Dylan, cut. Dylan, cut this.
Cut.
Dylan's not going to do shit. We tried to get Dylan to do a video.
We made him do a video that's 2 hours long, Ryan.
Yeah.
And where we talked about random cards throughout all of Vanguard.
Yeah,
it was
a project, man.
Yeah.
Dude, there's like, I feel like we've recorded at least 5 videos that we just haven't released.
I have them all on my computer.
I know, you just
really
never
annoying.
send it to me.
This is all you, baby. You gotta do this.
Alright, but yeah, let's just go ahead and get into the deck profile.
Alrighty. What shall we start off with? The main deck?
Yeah,
or
generally main
Alrighty. So our starter is the V-Series Draw Card starter.
So I just choose to play that instead of any of the other Nubatama starters?
I don't know what any of the other Nubatama starters are, except for one dominating one. And I really like this a lot more, just for the fact is, if you do get Great Lock, it kind of helps keep you in the game.
Dope.
Alrighty.
I'm just going to sit here and ask him questions, by the way, this whole time.
It's going to be very annoying.
Oh, hells, yeah.
Alrighty. So our MVP of the regular deck, Jammy Congo. Specifically, Shura Stealth Dragon Jammy Congo.
For the viewers at home that don't know, what does he do?
I was about to say it. This is why you're going to be so annoying. On place and at the end of every turn, your opponent chooses 6 cards from their hand and discards the rest. If you have a grade 3 in the soul, then it's 4 cards. So basically, however behind you are in the game, this guy will limit, or however ahead the opponent is, this guy will kind of make it an even ground and limit them to only playing with 4 cards during their guard phase, which is extremely good in Vanguard.
So do you think the ban's justified on him?
Yes. Well, the ban isn't on him. It's on a combo that we'll get into later, which is extremely broken. Alright. And next up, we are running 2 Magatsu Storms. This is the first VR in... Which set did it come out in?
Set 4?
In set 4? AL...
No,
Q4.
Miyagi Academy.
Oh, Miyagi Academy.
Or Miyagi Card Fight Club or whatever.
Whichever that one is. It has 2 effects. We don't really care about the second effect too much. In Premium, it's the first effect that we really like. Its first effect is Counterblast 1 when your opponent's Vanguard swings at your Vanguard. You Counterblast 1 and retire 2 of your rear guards, and it PGs their Vanguard swing. It's very helpful in the Golds matchup when they use Raven-Haired. It's very helpful in the OTT matchup because there's so much guard restrict that they can do. It's a really annoying deck, and this really helps get around it. And he's mostly your ideal first ride target if your opponent has 6 cards in hand. He's ideally your first ride target because there's no point in riding Jammy Congo when they already have 6 cards in hand. Alrighty.
Did you use him at all in the shop challenge?
Yes, I used him against OTT and against Golds once, I believe.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it was very helpful. Alrighty, and our last grade 3 is the bird. What's this? It's Stealth Beast Kokoshu Garasu. And its effect is very funny. So it's a Vanguard Rearguard effect. Soul Blast 3 cards and discard 2 Sentinels from your hand. You bounce all of your opponent's rearguards to their hand, and as long as you bounced 1 card, you get to discard 5 cards from their hand. This is a really good combo when they have only like 3 cards on the field, very few cards on the field, and you'll still guarantee discard them their whole field plus 2 cards. So you really want to ideally use him when they have less than 5 cards on the field. If you use it when they have more than 5 cards on the field, you're essentially giving them cards in hand, which is usually never good. But I used him a couple of times, and I sent people to 0 with 0 cards in their hand. It's a very fun card to use. He also gets plus 15k when you use his effect, which also helps hit good numbers. Alrighty. Next we have our grade 2s. Oh, so our grade 3s, I believe we were only running 4, 8, 9. We're only running 9 grade 3s. I thought I was running more. Felt like I was running more. I drew them all the time. Next we have our grade 2s. We are running 10 of them. Wow. First grade 2 we are running. This is probably the best grade 2 in the deck. It's a really good grade 2 for Nubatamas. It's Magatsu Gale. Its effect is on place, counterblast 1, soul blast 1, draw a card, and he gets plus 6k. It's kind of your ideal ride target for your second turn because it'll hit such good numbers against force. It'll hit 15. Okay. And its second ability is really good on rearguard circle too. And its on play skill works Vanguard or rearguard circle, but its second ability is only on rearguard circle. At the end of the battle it attacks, you can soul charge himself to bounce another one of your rearguards to your hand. That really helped in aggroing them and still having cards in your hand to guard with against like all the aggro decks like Gold Paladin and Neo Nectars and just whatever else aggro really big. It's probably your ideal ride target for grade 2. Next we have 3 of this bad boy. Oh god. Stealth Rogue of Liquidation. Liquidation. Sadatsugu. This guy is from G Series. He is a dominating skill basically. So his first skill is just he gets 2k when he attacks if you're on a Shiranui, if you have a Shiranui Vanguard. So it doesn't really work too well when Shiranui gets hit later, so you probably want to take him out later. But his other effect is really good with domination. So it says when your other unit attacks, counterblast 1, retire it, and draw a card, but that applies to dominated units as well. So ideally you only want to use this on dominated units, and it's a once per turn effect. So it's really good once they call something from hand, you counterblast 1, you pop in, you draw a card. So it's a really good tool to just kind of cycle through and see what other strong cards you can do for your kind of kill turn. And lastly, we have Momentary Stealth Rogue Tsunamasa. This is another V-Series card. It's only 8k, but its effect is on place, give a unit, any unit, plus 3k. It can give himself 3k, it can give a Vanguard or a Rearguard plus 3k. Then, if the unit that you gave plus 3k to is a grade 3, you'll get to Soul Charge a card from the top of your deck. That's kind of why we run him, because this deck uses up so much soul, and if you can Soul Charge a grade 3 from the top, then that makes all your turns so much better, because that will apply Jammy Congo's skill. Since you'll have a grade 3 in soul, they'll have to go down to 4 cards in hand. And I guess you could also use Mugatsu's skill, but I probably wouldn't suggest using it. Alrighty. The grade 2s are done. Let's go on to grade 1s. We are running, let's see, 4, 8, 12, 14 grade 1s. Kind of a bit. Alrighty. I believe the most important grade 1 that you can run is Mist Frog. It's an extremely good card for when you are running the dominating engine. Its effect is when one of your dominated units attacks, you soul charge him, draw a card, the dominated unit gets plus 6k. I needed this card in my hand all the time. It's such a good card. You'll have to call it to the field, though, before you activate any of your dominating skills, because you can't activate it from hand. And a lot of their skills are immediate. Like, they'll have to attack immediately when you use their skills. Ideally, what you'll do with this guy is you'll have one of your dominated units swing, and if that hits and they get a damage trigger, then you want to stack them on the second attack. That's a lot bigger. So I needed him a lot because people hit damage triggers, all the time. And it really helps with getting numbers, because a lot of times your early dominated attacks are very low, like numbers, like 10s and 9s. Alrighty, our next important grade 1 is this bad boy. This one was cool.
I love this deck
Sakura
profile.
Fubuki. Why?
I love this because it just pains you every time you have to
It's
say
so
one of their
annoying,
names.
their names. God,
It's
they're
so
so
amazing.
long. Stealth Rogue of the Night, Sakura Fubuki. There you go. God, and I have to do this name next. But back on this bad boy. He's the unflipper of the deck. Really good to use early. It combos extremely well with Gale. Ideally, you'll run out of counterblast quick when you use Gale early. But if you use Gale in the rearguard circle, you'd want to put this guy behind him that's swinging for a 26 lane. And then you get to bring this back to your hand to possibly unflip again. It's just a really good, strong play. It really helped me out in the early game a lot, this play. That's why this card is really good. Its effect only works on rearguard, and it's also kind of hard to use his effect. You have to make sure you have one or less cards face up in the damage, or else you won't get to draw a card. Its effect is basically you ditch a card, draw a card, but you have to make sure, pay attention to when you play this. You have to, because I very nearly misplayed and just discarded a card for no reason.
Good old misplays.
Oh, all the time, baby.
Not even cheating. Just can't read.
Just stupid. Yeah. Yeah. Alrighty. Next grade 1 is this bad boy in the new set. Yes, it is. One of 2 new cards in this set. Yeah. It's Stealth Fiend, Sumoji Basho. Yeah. Sumoji Basho. I'm sorry.
Songs are
Huh?
dumb. Songs are dumb.
Yeah, they are. Why are they so long? And even the triggers. I'm not going to say
Dude,
the triggers.
you have to be a weeb to play this deck.
Oh my god, yes. Jesus. But you have to be super read to understand it. No, okay. This bad boy skill is Soul Blast 1. Your opponent discards a card from their hand. It'll get plus 10k for each grade, and then they reveal the top card of their deck and add it to your hand. This guy won me games, actually. He won me like a couple of games just using his skill. After you stride and with Jammy Congo, they'll be at 4 cards in hand, and a lot of times they'll want to discard a grade 0, basically, which is shield value, which is great because then it'll just this card will just it won't get as powerful, but it's still getting rid of their shield value, and then you'll be able to see their next card in their deck, and it also can take out that pesky little damage trigger that they always hit on you. That wins them the game. So this guy, it's really fun. You'd want to use his skill with the full combo. I'll get into the full combo later, though. And lastly, we just have 2 Stride Fodders. I'm not going to read the name. They're just 2 Stride Fodders.
You guys know what it
Yeah,
does.
it's a Stride Fodder. All right. Important part. Triggers. We are running 6 new triggers. We are running 4 of the premium collection trigger. Soul Charge Draw, it's pretty standard. You just gives your Vanguard plus 10k. It's a great booster. And then we're running 2 of these other bad boys. Alrighty. Next, we are running 6 draw triggers. 4 PG draws, 2 regular draw triggers. We're running 6 draw in this deck because it's really important to draw Jam and Congo and to draw all your good combo pieces early. Because once you draw kind of 1 or 2 combo pieces, or cycling pieces, you can really just keep drawing other stuff and cycle through. It's really good to just get the cards you need in hand.
Do you ever have to play a game without Jam and Congo?
No, I always either got him, but not like first stride. I would have to like ride him second or something like that.
That's
yeah,
not bad at all.
Yeah, no, it's not. But I think almost every game I played him. No, actually, there was a game. It was very funny. I was playing against Royals. I was playing against MLB Royals, and I had to ride the guy without the gift. I had to ride this guy, and I just died because I didn't have a PG in hand. That was one of the games. Alrighty, and lastly, we have heal triggers. We have 2 of the G-Guarding heal triggers. That lets you either unflip or soul charge. You almost always use this to soul charge because the deck relies on soul so much. You use soul so much. Almost
so good.
Never... What?
Your game's so good.
Well, now you just... Oh, fuck off. Alrighty. 4 heals, 2 of these, 2 of the really pretty ones that are 10Ks. Alrighty. Now for the fat boys, the juicy boys. Our G-Zone. 16 cards. Let's hit him with the most important guy first. Shiranui Rine. Alrighty. So this guy's effect is Counterblast 1. Your opponent chooses 2 cards from their hand, calls them to the field, and then you dominate them and they swing at the Vanguard. The 2 cards that are called get plus 5k.
Not GB restricted, by the way.
Yep. No, it is not GB restricted. The second effect is GB restricted. It's GB3. All dominated units get plus 10k and plus 1 crit. So really, really strong.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not the GB restricted thing that's the problem. Is that there's no hand size restriction on them. If they have 1 card in hand, you can do this. Yeah. If they have 2 cards in hand, but what's great is that you will most likely keep them at 4 cards in hand with this guy's skill. Then they'll go down to 2 cards in hand when you use this guy's skill. And then when you use this guy's skill, you'll make them ditch one of the cards that they saved in their hand. This guy's ditched so many heal triggers, it's insane. And this combo is basically why the deck is so good. You also want strong rear guards that will hit even after they get damage trigger. I've killed people from... I think 2 is the lowest I've killed people from with this combo, but they did have the plus 15k. That's why this deck is broken. I believe it should get hit. They're restricting it so that you can't run both of these guys together, which I completely understand. If you have to get rid of one of these 2 guys, I would suggest getting rid of Rine, even though Rine is extremely good. The fact that you can guaranteed get them down to 4 cards in hand and then stride on top and then possibly kill them, I think that is better than just trying to do Rine without restricting their hand size at all. Alrighty.
Do you think if it was, you could play 4 of either, like, get to...
2 and 2?
Yeah, if you could play 2 and 2, or like
you had to
3
play
and 1
4
or
of the
something,
combo.
Would you
I think I would. No, I think I
would.
would run 2 and 2, and then just run a lot more draw engines in the deck. I think because then you wouldn't use him first. You'd guaranteed. Basically, you can stall the game as long as possible until you get the combo. It doesn't matter how many cards they have in their hand because they'll only have 2 cards in their hand to guard all of their attacks. If they did it that way, you would for sure run 2-2. I think. Alrighty. Oh, I don't even know. Okay. All these other guys, I didn't even go into them at all. In the entire tournament, I never went into a single one of these cards once. The games were over way before that. Okay. So, yeah, I'll still review them. Okay. We're running 2 of...
I like your honesty.
Enma. I'm just going to call him Enma Stealth Dragon. This guy's effect, Counterblast 1, choose card face down with same card name from your G-Zone. Turn it face up. Choose one of your opponent's rear guards. It will get plus 3k for every face-up card. Yeah, and you stand it, and then you can attack anything, and then it will die at the end of the turn. So it's basically, if there's a pesky rear guard you want to kill, just use it on that rear guard. Rene is just a million times better to go into. Alrighty.
This whole segment's going to be a
Just,
comparison
yeah,
of
to
why
Rene.
Rene's a
Yeah.
lot better.
Basically. Alrighty, next one we have another Enma. Ah, crap. With this one, Stealth Rogue, Mujin Lord. This guy actually debated going into...
He was a really good card when he came
Once
out.
yeah, it's extreme. I would suggest when to replace your deck to put more of him in once Rene's hit, because this is actually a pretty good card. So its effect is Counterblast 1, choose a face down card in your G zone. I believe it's himself, and then turn it face up, and you choose however many of your opponent's rear guards based on how many cards are face up in your G zone, and they get plus 4k, and then you dominate them to swing at your opponent's Vanguard, I believe. Yes.
Dude, against Royals, that could just be like
Each
a power
takes-
play.
Yeah.
Or not Royals, sorry, Golds.
Golds, yeah, exactly. That could be
Power play.
crazy. But it's limited to how many cards you have face up in your
Yeah.
G zone. That's why he's not the best first ride target in the deck. Rene's probably still better first ride. Or another one we'll get into later. Alrighty, and then we have one of this bad boy. It's the one that forces your opponent's Vanguard to attack their whole field, and you get to drive check. So it's a pretty good skill. It's Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, ditch a card, I believe. It's a board wipe, essentially. So basically, if they have a pesky board and you want to wipe it like Golds or OTT, wiping the board against OTT actually is really helpful against them.
Especially when you discard them down to 4 cards.
Yeah, that too. You're just limiting what they can play with, which is great. And lastly, we have GB8. GB8 skills nuts. I never got to GB8. If I did, I would definitely use it. It's when your opponent places a Guardian, I believe, you either Counterblast or Soul Blast and then retire that Guardian. So they have to PG everything, basically. I believe it's not guard restricted. Let's see. When your opponent's unit is placed on guard circle from hand. Oh, so it can be G-guarded. You may Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1 if you do. Your opponent chooses 2 cards from her hand and discards them. Never mind. It's completely different. So it ditches 2 cards from their hand when they guard for one thing. That's actually a lot better. But it's only from hand, so you can't use it when they G-guard. All right. Next is our Progenitor Dragon. He is the second best stride target. I pretty much strode into him all the time as much as I could first. It was just ideal over Rene. If you can, just do it first, because that keeps your grade 3s in hand, and all your grade 3s do cool stuff, so you're able to use their effects. Its skill is Counterblast 2 when... No, it's an act. Okay. So it's Counterblast 2, Soul Blast 1. It gets plus 10k, and then it battles all of your opponent's rear guards. So it battles all of your opponent's units. So it battles their Vanguard and their rear guard, and it has an on-hit ability to unflip. So this card was really good against OTT, against Golds. I used it against Neonectars. Royals, I used this card basically against everyone.
I think it's the best Progenitor.
It's between this guy and the Manga Alliance one. The blue one. The blue one is so good. Mongolation one.
Magnallanica.
Magnallanica.
The whale.
Yeah, the whale. The whale. It's the dragon and the whale. That's way easier. The whale is such a good card.
Oh, it's crazy good.
Yeah, if you have a hand of like all zeros, you're just going to the whale. Of ones and zeros, just go into the whale and they can't guard you. Alrighty, but Progenitor, ideal first ride target. If you are going second and you have the first stride, definitely want to try to ride this guy first. All right. If you're going first and you have the second stride, you would want to G-guard and then stride into this guy, because then you could probably kill them. Alrighty. Lastly is the G-guards. Alrighty. So we are running one of the one that's the heal trigger Zashiki Hime?
We call her Hinata.
Hinata. One Hinata.
Oh, is that Murakumo?
Whatever, it's a pretty girl. Its effect is when it's placed, you flip over another G-Guardian. It's a GB1 skill. And then your opponent has to discard a card, or this unit gets plus 20k. This is really good when your opponent goes all out and plays all the cards in their hand. before they draft check, because then it will guaranteed get the plus 20k. We're only running one of it though, because it's only good in that specific situation. Because in any other situation, your opponent would guarantee discard a card for this skill, because it's just so worth for them to discard it. Alrighty. Next, we're running 2 of the dominating G guard. Let's see what his name is. God. Stealth Dragon Giho Raken. Alrighty. His effect is when placed, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your opponent's grade 1 in the back row rear guards and dominate it, move it to the guard circle. It's really good now because all of the V-Series grade 1s are 10k shields. So it's a lot better. And it can help, eliminate, what's his face? Howl from Golds. Yep. Yeah, you can get rid of their Howl, which limits their attacks, which is great.
If they're playing the V-Series Howl.
Yeah, if they're playing V-Series Howl. But and it only works on back row. It doesn't work on front row units. So sadly, you can't kill their front row attacking rear guards.
You don't have a Denial Griffin?
Yeah, I know. No, Griffin's stupid. Alrighty, lastly, for our G guards, we have Stealth Dragon Gadoku Raken. Wait, what? Is it the same? It's very similar. Alrighty, this bad boy skill is when he's placed, if your opponent has 4 or more cards in hand, 3 or more cards in hand, it'll get plus 5k shield. So that's a pretty easy 20k shield. If they have 6 or more cards in hand, then it gets plus 10k. Yeah, and so it'll get the full plus 15k. So that's a really big, 30k guard. So this one I used probably a lot. All these G guards are good. But this one really helped when playing against OTT when they had really big hands.
It seems like the most generic out of
all of them.
Out of all of them, right?
Well, I mean, I wish my other clans had something like this. Yeah. Are you kidding me? This is really good. All my clans G guards suck.
So is that it?
Oh yeah. I guess that's it. Oh wait, no.
Can you hear the comment? Can you hear the comment section? Do you hear what they're typing right now? Just right now?
How good looking and attractive this Zach guy is, just based on his hands. Yes.
You don't hear them?
Genius.
Where's Drachma? Where's Drachma?
Oh.
Would you have played him?
Oh. Yeah. He's an expensive card though.
Yeah, we
didn't have one.
Between the 3 of us, we don't own one.
Drachma's skill, if you can read it, you might not be able to. It's kind of small.
You're not supposed to. It's a 9 by 11.
So Drachma's skill is on place, counterblast 2, get rid of your whole G zone and whatever.
No, that's after.
That's after. At the end of turn, you have to do that. But counterblast 2 when placed, and then your opponent chooses 3 cards in their hand. Oh, you retire. No, first you retire their Vanguard.
They're bored.
And they're bored, right? Oh my god. And then they choose 3 cards in their hand. They have to ride one of them, and then they have to discard the other 2. Essentially, this brings them down to 1 card in hand when you use it fully with Jimmy Congo. And then you make them discard that 1 card in their hand, and then you know exactly what card they have in their hand. So if you don't win off of this, you're just bad at the game, basically.
Or they're really good. You never know, dude.
Yeah, 4 heals. My god, that could happen. Yeah, so I would suggest putting him in your deck.
What would you have cut instead?
Probably the Board Wiper.
The dominate the Vanguard one?
Yeah, probably this guy or the GB8. I would probably cut one of these 2 guys for him. Because the Prognator Dragon's already a Board Wiper, and it's just kind of better than these 2. But since you have to get rid of Rene, you can run this deck. I would suggest running 2 more of him, and probably 2 more of the Premium Collection Nubatama card. That
dominate
one...
somebody's G-Zone.
Yeah, dominate their G-Zone, and then you can use their auto abilities. But that one's terrible if you're striding first. That's the problem. So now this deck doesn't really have a good first stride target since Rene's out of the picture. So basically you'd always want to stride second with this deck. which is really weird because most of the time you would die. But no, with this deck, it actually helps a lot.
I also think that like
I'll just leave them here.
Jamie Congo and Drachma is good enough to keep the deck competitive.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think. Oh, you might want to take out some of your dominating support. Actually, you would want to keep it in. You might want to take out. Let's see which cards. You can take out this guy, I think, and you can also take out this grade 2. Because you won't need to try to cheese your way to victory because you'll won't be able to do the guaranteed 2 cards from hand first stride. So you'd probably want this. I would suggest either playing like the 12K or the Jimmy Congo grade 2 that's on place. They have to guard with 2 cards. It's also really good. This card those are the main cards I think would be replaced in the deck when it's hit. And yeah, I think that's all I have on the deck.
How many cards do you think you discarded last Saturday? Like from opponent's hands? Like how many in total?
There was one time the guy had I think like 10 cards in hand, then I got him down to 6, and then he had 8 cards in hand, and then I got him down to 4. It was very funny.
Do you think you discarded at least a full deck of cards?
50 cards?
Throughout the whole tournament?
Throughout the whole tournament, maybe. I think it would definitely be in the 40s. Honestly, Jimmy Congo is crazy strong.
If you think about it, it was a 5-round tournament followed by a top 8 cut.
Yeah, and it was best of threes too. So there was quite a lot of games to be had. But it was very fun.
Pretty sick. So
and this deck is really good. Play it if you're going to the regionals. In Canada. Canadians, listen to me. Play this deck. It's so good. It kind of loses to Neonectars. That was my only loss, was Neonectars. But I think you can put the 12K in to kind of help with the Neonectar fight. But Neonectars, Gold Paladins, that's like the worst matchup for these guys. Alrighty.
Golds are a whole other beast, man.
Yeah, they're pretty crazy. But I didn't lose to any of them.
That's good.
They only superior road like twice in a turn. Yeah, that's pretty bad. No, but that's the main weakness of this deck is going up against early aggro. Once you get past the early game, you're pretty much set to live if you play smartly and have the right cards in your hand. So watch out the early game. Play this deck though if you have it. It's so good. Play Drachma in the deck. It's basically a guaranteed win. You G-guard twice on you go first. You ride, I don't know, Magatsu Storm to try to live, and then you G-guard 2 other times to try to live. Then you ride this bad boy, then you discard, then you ride Jim Congo, then you discard 1, go into this bad boy, and they have 1 card in hand to guard all your attacks. Great. It's fantastic.
No,
all right.
Good. Thanks for being here, Zach, and doing this deck profile of the
No
very
problem.
difficult names.
Yes, the very Japanese, I guess,
Very
names.
Japanese.
I like my football player names much better.
So this is sorry about that, but yeah, this is pretty last minute. Probably gonna be scuffed. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna have a thumbnail, but it's gonna be uploaded on the same day. We keep saying that we're gonna put up stuff and we keep recording stuff and we don't, so we just decided the best way to actually post stuff is to just do it.
I want to separate this out here, Ryan. We got to clear something. You keep saying we. It's mostly just you. Okay.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's your job to post everything and edit.
It is. It's 100% me.
Okay.
But again, it's really hard to record and it's really hard to like
Okay,
upload
okay.
in a timely manner. So I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
Thanks guys for watching. Also in the comments below, anybody who can say the right amount of times that Zach said bad boy, we'll shout you out in the
Did
next
I say
video.
it a lot?
A whole lot.
Dude, this deck is just full of bad boys. There's only
Oh
like
no,
one-
big boy.
Big boy. Oh, big boy.
is the-
I like big boy.
Big boy or bad boy. It's all
lot
of
of
them.
boys. Yeah,
We'll shout you out in the next video.
definitely.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye.